What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Welcome back to Top Bins, the show bringing you all the latest news and notes from around the world of pro football, pro soccer, whatever you want to call it. It's KB, Harrison, and Mark back for a second consecutive week, and Mark is in a fantastic mood for this week's episode. He texted us going into this week that he was either going to be in the worst mood possible or in a fantastic mood, and we got fantastic Mark on deck for us with this one. We're going to recap everything from the third round of the FA Cup, kind of go into the fourth round matchups, some things that may stand out to us there, and then we'll break down everything from the Prem that has gone down, some transfer rumors as well that have come across, some moves that have happened since the last time we recorded. But before we get into everything, make sure you guys are following us on the socials, on Twitter, and on TikTok for now. Who knows how much longer? At FC Top Bins, and then on Instagram and Threads, it is at Top Bins Pod. We now have the official Top Bins voicemail line open as well at speakpipe.com/FC Top Bins. Leave us a voicemail. It's open 24/7, 365. The only limitation is that it's just 90 seconds. So get your takes off. If you leave multiple voicemails, feel free to do so. We'll play them back to back. But get your takes off, your thoughts about your team, your rivals, matches that you're watching, transfer rumors, the whole 9 yards. Leave us a voicemail. We will feature them on the show. Speakpipe.com/FC Top Bins. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts in audio form. Leave a 5-star review. It helps the show continue to grow, lets people know that Top Bins is back. And subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel if you want to watch the show every week. It's youtube.com/@Underground Sports Philadelphia. We're 9 subscribers away from 900, which means we're 109 away from that big 1K. So smash that like button, ring the bell icon, leave a comment in the comment section, and let's get to 900 subscribers, hopefully before the end of the week. And, of course, this show is presented by our pals over at Classic Football Shirts. If you're looking for that vintage look, looking for a shirt that's been difficult for you to find on the open market, Classic Football Shirts is the place to go. They've been doing it for decades now. The biggest place for your vintage look in terms of the football universe. Use our link in the description and shop all the looks that Classic Football Shirts has available to you. They also have a fantastic series going on YouTube right now that I've been rabbit-holed into recently, that they're taking former and current pros to just go shopping for shirts, which is just so much fun to watch. But use our link, and shout out to Classic Football Shirts for sponsoring the pod. Boys, the FA Cup has come and gone, the third round, that is. Not too many big surprises, but there was one big surprise, which we'll get into. But overall thoughts from the third round of the FA Cup. Harrison, I'll start with you.
Chelsea did what they needed to get done. They handled business. Again, not too many shocks, standard stuff. The big teams won the big games, and the smaller clubs were happy to be there. So, yeah.
Mark, is it still an open wound? Are we
Still,
okay?
Yeah. It's I'd be in a worse mood if other results didn't go our way today. But yeah, I mean, as Harrison said, no major shocks. Didn't really think anything major would happen. I guess you could say the major shock was United winning, but other than that, nothing surprising.
I was going to say them, and then Plymouth pulling the 1-0 quote-unquote upset over Brentford. Having Plymouth beat a Premier League team was pretty cool. And then you get a man of the match in a National League team against Spurs, which was pretty sick. That highlights making the rounds. Some teams in the Prem did what they had to do to kind of not necessarily get back on track, but kind of feel their groove and feel comfortable knowing hey, if we're rolling out, guys that are playing in Premier League matches for us, we can win. And I think some of the clubs, one towards the bottom of the table that really needed it was Leicester City winning 6-2, kind of winning in a dominant fashion. It's like, okay, like we have the capability. Sure, we're playing against QPR, but like we have the capability to score. We can play our style of game. And it kind of gets you in I think, a positive mindset going into this week's, matches and moving forward that like, hey, we have the team that, compiled right now. We can win games, kind of salvage our season and avoid relegation. And I think these types of games are huge for those teams and kind of just knowing that like, hey, we can win together.
Absolutely. It's a morale booster for sure.
And I think for another team like Brighton, who has drawn I think 9 straight Prem matches without a win, for them to win convincingly, 4-0, and for Hertzler to kind of just put his dick on the table and say, yeah, we're going to play every member of the team that's healthy and just go for this, I think is a smart move for where Brighton is in the Premier League table right now, and just be like, hey, let's try to go chase a trophy and be in this thing and get our guys back. They got some guys back from injury. Obviously, João Pedro didn't play in this game, but it looks like he's going to be okay moving forward from all the reports. He twisted his ankle in training, but I mean, for them to go out and win 4-0, Solly March scores in this game, is a feel-good story for them. With him coming back from injury, that was devastating. So that's another get back on track type of thing. And then Man United just keeps, kind of finding their groove. They draw Liverpool, they win in PKs here. And I mean, what a fitting, move for them, with it being Xerxes after that early substitution a couple weeks ago, for him to be the one to kind of get it done. Ipswich stays hot. Crystal Palace survives. And I think a team, even though they're towards the bottom, like a team like Southampton getting a 3-0 win, that's a huge confidence boost for them. Not saying it's going to translate to, Premier League matches or anything, but for them just as a whole, where this season has been an absolute nightmare, that's a huge, victory for them to walk away with a 3-0 win against Swansea. Takeaways from the 4th round draws, anything kind of stand out to you guys? That'll happen February 8th is the week of the 4th round. T's and P's to Plymouth. Get that feel good win, and then it's like, oh, Liverpool's coming to town.
I think Villa Tottenham might be the match of the round. That'll be extremely fun to watch. I could see Plymouth trying to keep some magic alive and playing Liverpool as close as they can. But, playing them close doesn't mean the score is going to be close. So that could wind up poorly for them. Brighton-Chelsea's going to be a hell of a match. I think Chelsea should be able to handle business, but we'll have to see. You never know what happens when you play another Premier League team in the FA Cup. And if Leicester beat United, I will be over the moon. Over the moon.
I think it's that. And then Everton-Bournemouth is the other Premier League match. So some interesting draws for sure. And February will be here before we know it. So we'll go more into depth on those as it gets closer. But definitely some intriguing matchups in the 4th round of the FA Cup. And the 3rd round brought a ton of highlights, ton of storyline, which was a ton of fun to follow along with last weekend. But as we move to another match week in the Premier League, we had a couple games already happen. We have a couple games that will occur before the next time we record. So we'll talk about those two. It's only 2, Ipswich Town and Brighton, and then Man United Southampton happen by the time you guys are listening to this, but we'll preview those a little bit. But looking at the matches that have happened, Harrison, what's going on? What's going on with the boys? It's Cole Palmer, and then it falls apart. I feel like the way for Chelsea to figure this out is Cole Palmer can't be the first one to score. It's got to be somebody else, and then you guys can
got to get Nico Jackson back into his scoring form. He's playing real well. He's assisting Cole Palmer. I mean, they have the most combined goals in the Premier League so far this season. But they just need to figure out how to hold the lead, first of all, and then extend upon it. Because Sure, did we get a late equalizer through a great Reece James goal, his first goal in the Premier League in 2 years? Yes, and was that a feel-good moment? Absolutely. But that can't be how we get points in Premier League matches. That should have been a match we handled easily. Again, throw Eden Hazard in that game, and the score's 4-0 Chelsea with the Hazard. So I'm just really hoping that we get our defense figured out. We canceled Trevor Chalobah's loan today, so we could bring him back from Crystal Palace, which will help our defense out. But we just need one of our goalies to step up. I feel like I'm a broken record every single week. Goaltending. It's just it hurts my brain. It hurts my brain.
Yeah, I mean, you guys did salvage this one. Reece James scores in the 90th +5 for you guys. But I mean, it's also tough when we talked about Bournemouth last week and they're losing all these players left and right. And then, you draw them again after having a 1-0 lead. I don't know. It's been an interesting month now for Chelsea where like it's kind of, gone from you guys firmly entrenched in that top 4 to now Newcastle keeps winning and you guys are out of the top 4 all of a sudden.
What did I say? There's no title race. We're just focusing on the Conference League.
Everyone clowned you guys for that comment, and then look, maybe it's true. Maybe you Doctor Stranged all the permutations and saw there was no title race.
No, we were right. We were right the whole time.
I mean, good win. It's a draw, but it's a good win for Bournemouth with the current situation they're in to kind of salvage a point there and walk away with points in a situation where they're down some of their biggest players. So we'll see if Chelsea figures it out next time on Dragon Ball Z. West Ham come away with a 3-2 win over Fulham. Fulham kind of tried to salvage it late, couldn't really get that extra goal in there at the end. I mean, for West Ham, that's got to be a boost for them. The Graham Potter bump finally happens.
The Graham Potter decline is about to happen too. It's a very up and down. It's a roller coaster with that man as manager. Trust me.
Is it a roller coaster, or is it just that Chelsea's a roller coaster and he was part of it?
It could be that. Yeah, I'm not discounting anything. Being a Chelsea fan is just like living on a roller coaster, and most of it's going down. But,
good. Long may it continue.
Hey,
and I mean,
never forget 2 Champions Leagues. Only club in London to say that.
Good for you.
You look at West Ham too, getting a full blown 3-point win, like that puts them right back in the middle of the table where I think they kind of want to stick around for the remainder of this season. Because you draw that game, you draw and only get 1 point from it. Like you're kind of still in that limbo zone with Tottenham, with Crystal Palace, with Man United. Now they're kind of a little bit above them. With the Graham Potter experience going on for the remainder of the season. So we'll see, how West Ham try to figure things out. I mean, their goal differential is absolute shit at a -14. So they're kind of like the duality of man where, Tottenham's, sitting at 24 points, but they have a +11 goal differential, and West Ham's with 26 points have a -14 goal differential. So a good win nonetheless for West Ham. Fulham, not great for them, especially when, Bournemouth get a point there. Fulham now sitting at 30 points. Brighton still has to play. If Brighton end up breaking this, winless streak, they move up ahead of not only Brentford, but Fulham. So not ideal for Fulham to drop points there completely at all, especially to West Ham when they've kind of been in this weird, funky state all season. But a good win for West Ham. Brentford, Man City, draw 2-2.
Got injected into my veins.
The Killer Bees in the 82nd minute and in extra time salvage points for Brentford. Phil Foden scored both goals for Man City. Just when everyone thought Man City was back. They draw to Brentford. It's a huge win for, the mid-table teams. It's a huge win for teams like Chelsea, teams like Newcastle, Aston Villa that are, fighting for top 4, top 5 to have Man City drop points in a game that they absolutely should have won.
Yeah. And could this be the nail in the dagger for or the nail in the coffin for Pep Guardiola at Man City? I think he's really looking to get his way out of there at this point.
He signed an extension. He's staying.
He signed an extension, but like the way he's been talking, he might be trying to get himself canned, which would be hilarious.
I doubt he's trying to get himself fired. I think it's just the first year that he's experienced genuine stress because
First year that he's really experienced that.
Well, he's had stress before, but in the Premier League at least, where because especially that 1920 season where Liverpool ran away with the title, like he basically was like, "Yeah, we're not winning it." He knew early on, but like this year, it's just been so stressful. But he says he's there, he's committed, which annoys me because I want him to leave. But no, he's fine. They're just going to regroup. They made a couple signings or close to a couple of signings. So he's fine. He's not going anywhere as much as it annoys me.
Until we see him walk in with like Wolverine claws etched into his bald head from all the stress. But yeah, I mean, good salvage of points there for Brentford to kind of, stay above water to a degree. The match of the week going into it, I think the match of the week overall, Nottingham Forest, Liverpool draw 1-1.
Yep.
Huge, for Nottingham Forest.
I thought they were going to do it.
And, Chris Wood scores in the 8th minute. They get that early lead and then just not able to hold on for the full 3 points. But nonetheless, that's a huge, result there for Nottingham Forest. Diego Jota scores for Liverpool. I mean, looking at the table right now in terms of, the top 3, top 4, Liverpool still has a game in hand. That game finally has a rescheduled date as well. But, Nottingham Forest, dangerous team. And I know Mark's paying close attention to them as well. But, you look at the way they're playing, they kind of have what it takes to be a top 3 team this year.
Absolutely.
I'm still waiting for the drop off just because I just can't. They're not scoring enough to be like of the top 10 teams. They've got the least amount of goals scored,
but they're not conceding too much either.
That's the thing, though. Yeah, so they're not conceding either, but you still need to score to win. And take it from me, this team is struggling to score. They need goals, and all it takes is if you keep going for these like 1-0, 2-1 games, it takes one moment, and it goes from 3 points to 1 point or even no points. So good result for Nottingham Forest. Poor result for Liverpool. As a person from personal experience, I was rooting for a draw, so I'm happy that happened. I wasn't able to watch the first half, but I was texting my friend who's a Liverpool fan throughout it. He was not happy with how they were playing, so I turned it on for the second half. It just seemed very off. Now, it could just be a one-off game and that's it. But I was talking to him in the last few games, few weeks, maybe it's just all the contract speculations finally just getting to them. Maybe it's just the amount of fixtures. He says they've looked off and they're defensively still a little wobbly, similar to last year, which was why they fell apart at the end. But they just have so much talent going forward that they can just outscore you. But who knows? Maybe their luck will run out.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Nottingham Forest too, like you said, Mark, they've scored the fewest of any of the top 10. They've scored the same amount of goals as Brighton, but have conceded the same amount as Liverpool.
That's pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
And, people kept saying during the Leicester run in 2016, I can't wait for the fall off. I cannot see this fall off happening as of right now. I mean, they could just prove me wrong eventually, but The way they've been playing, the way they've been keeping up with their competition, I could see them getting this top 3 spot easily.
Yeah, I mean, they just keep the magic just keeps going for them, and it is definitely a magical season so far for them.
Yep.
I mean, they have a upcoming stretch, February into early March, of hosting Brighton, FA Cup at Exeter, they should win, at Fulham, at Newcastle, and then as of right now, it's scheduled for 2 days later, hosting Arsenal. I'm assuming that's going to be rescheduled just because they're not going to make him play on 1 day's rest, and then there's like a 2-week break, and then they host Man City. So like those 5-6 games will tell us a lot about that team.
Yeah, that is quite the stretch. And I mean, you even look a little bit, further down the line, like their schedule lightens up, towards the back end. So that's helpful for them. But if they want to stay in that top 3, top 4, they definitely have to take care of business in February.
Who do you think their last game of the season is against? Don't look it up. No, I already said they play Arsenal in February.
Oh wait, yeah. Liverpool.
No, they just played.
They already beat Liverpool. Jeez.
Is it Newcastle?
Is it another top 4 team? Top 5 team? Is it Chelsea?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Imagine that game being for the top 4 for that last Champions
League. We lose that game. I guarantee it. We lose or draw it. And oh god, I'd bash my head in against a wall if that happened.
That would be absolutely. We might have to live stream that later this year. We might just have to have a solo cam on Harrison watching the game.
We'll throw it on TikTok, or if that's not there anymore, we'll throw it on Instagram Reels and just be like, hey.
Hey, the new app is Red Note, apparently.
Red Note. Yeah. Okay. Is that like blue sky for TikTok?
I guess.
Pretty much. Games that happened today, Newcastle just continue to stay hot. They are. I think it's time to say they are the hottest team in the Premier League.
I'm so mad about it too.
Just steamrolling everybody.
I'm mad about Newcastle. What can I say? They're ruining my hopes and dreams right now. Well, no, Chelsea are ruining my hopes and dreams. But this doesn't help.
Mark, how fun is it watching Isak just continue to drive up the price?
I need him to stop scoring more than anything else. I need him to stop because then I need Newcastle to not make the Champions League, so that way he becomes a little more affordable. But no, he's just
2 goals in this one for him.
On fire.
Just a beast. He's so fun to watch.
He is. He's just a dog.
Between him and like Mo Salah this year, those two have been just so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Newcastle right now in top 4 position.
Who would have thought?
Similar question. Like they're scoring goals for you, Mark. Like, does Newcastle have what it takes to be a top 4 at the end of the year?
I mean, based on how they've been playing the last couple of weeks, yeah, for sure. Especially they made some like slight changes to how they play in their formation. So yeah, they can score goals, so they can definitely do it. Granted, they still have to play a lot. I'm looking at their fixture schedule right now, and obviously you just want to do it one at a time, but they still have to play us again. They still have to play City. They have to play Liverpool, Brighton, Chelsea, and that's all like towards like the latter half of the year. I mean, they have this 3-game stretch where they play City, at City, host Forest, and then at Liverpool. So have fun with that.
That's a rough one right there.
Their last loss was December 7th.
Jeez.
4-2 to Brentford. And their last draw was 3 days prior, 3-3 to Liverpool. They have not drawn or lost since December 7th.
Yeah, they've been on fire lately.
Yeah. They're
doing it like damn near clean sheets every week too. So not only are they scoring, like their back end is playing extremely well. Like December 14th, 4-0 win against Leicester City. Ipswich, they beat 4-0. Aston Villa, they beat 3-0. Man United, they beat 2-0. They beat Tottenham 2-1. They beat Arsenal 2-0 in the Carabao Cup. They beat Bromley 3-1 in the FA Cup, 3-0 to Wolves. Like, the only Premier League goal they've given up is that one to Tottenham this year, being 2025, and then the last goal before that they conceded in Premier League play was in that 4-2 loss to Brentford December 7th, which is just crazy form, like top to bottom. So they are playing unbelievable ball right now, and we'll see if it continues, but they are truly the hottest team in the Prem for sure. Aston Villa squeaks out a 1-0 win against Everton. I know a lot of teams were probably hoping Aston Villa would either drop or draw there. Ollie Watkins gets it in the 51st minute. Everton just continues to kind of just be – Everton are the chill guy meme over the last, 5-6 years. They just hang around, like, not exactly in relegation, but they're right there, and they're just hands in their pocket, just like, hey, we're just happy to be here. We're just chilling.
Yeah, Everton, they have a great goalkeeper, and that's about it. That's the one bright spot for their entire season. And Pickford's been up and down the last few years, but I'm glad to see he's finally figuring it out. But
well, Pickford's been the reason that they've actually stayed up the last 2 years. So
yeah, I remember back in the day when he was like the go-to cheap goaltender on FIFA. Like, it was him and Jack Butland. Which, God, whatever happened with Jack Butland? I haven't thought of him in ages. Is he still down in the championship?
I have no idea. Let's look it up.
Let's find out.
He's a goalkeeper for Rangers in the Scottish Premiership.
Oh, okay. He's got 2 yellow cards in 17 matches. That's incredible.
He's been there since 2023.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't thought about him in years. I just remember FIFA, like the cards you wanted on FIFA like 16 was N'Golo Kante, and then like Jack Butland and that.
Back when FIFA was good.
Back when FIFA was good. I miss that era. Miss that era so bad.
Crystal Palace 2-0 away at Leicester City. They're continuing to kind of salvage, early relegation zone scare for them, but they've kind of been finding themselves again. A big win for them to kind of just, continue building on progress and building away from that relegation zone and kind of getting to that mid-table where I think they will probably end up with the way that they're playing recently. Right now they're currently tied with Tottenham in points at 24, but it's one of those teams that, Crystal Palace, they're in a similar vein of like Fulham and Brighton where like so many draws and they're finding themselves more mid-table than anything else, but a good result for them nonetheless. Mark, the stage is yours. Arsenal 2, Tottenham 1, down 1-0 early. You come back, get the dub. The people are saying Arsenal's back.
I remember I was texting friends after Sunday saying how, because I missed like the first half and then on Sunday and then missed like the first half of the second half. And then I tuned in right after United got the red card. And I saw him score, and I'm like, all right, come on. And then I just saw how many chances we created and just could not finish. And I was just – and then I watched Billy shoot and lost, and I was just like, I'm done with the season. I'm tired of dominating matches and not being able to finish our chances, which is so typical of Arsenal. But and I was just pissed off that I just needed just the season to end so we can get to the summer, get more attacking options. Wake up yesterday. Turns out we're signing Zubimendi in the summer, which we'll talk later when we talk transfers. And then I see Liverpool draw, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'll give myself false hope. And I'm like, I felt confident going into the game because Spurs haven't won at Arsenal in like 15 years now. But I was just worried because right now we legitimately only have, especially after Jesus ruptured his ACL on Sunday, we legitimately have 4 attacking options right now. So I was worried, and then start out on top, dominate them. They can't handle our press, and all of a sudden we give up 2 good chances. One was a nice just deflection by Gabriel off a nice pass by Dead Spence, and then another one saved by Ryan Kulusevski, but then they score because Son off a set piece, which Arsenal give up a set piece goal. It's a slight deflection, and it just annoyed me because it seems like we've gotten no luck this year. And I looked it up going into this game. We've conceded in the Premier League. I don't know about it in all competitions, but in the Premier League, we had conceded 18 goals only on and our expected goals allowed was like 20 point something. So like teams are just being really clinical against us. Like I remember like the game against Fulham, that goal by Jimenez was literally the only chance they had. And then that's it. And their expected goals was like 0.03. But like they won because they finished and we couldn't. So then I was very annoyed, but then because I was just praying it wasn't going to be one of those days. But then set piece FC starts. I thought it was a Gabriel goal again, but turned out it was an own goal. I will admit, we did get very lucky. It should not have been a corner for us. It was clearly off Trossard, and I don't know how the referee didn't see it because it was right in front of him, but I'll take it. And then a good interception by number 5 because I refused to say his name because I hate him and cannot wait for him to get out of my club for obvious reasons. Pass by Trossard and pass by Odegaard, Trossard. Good finish. Terrible goalkeeping, though. Terrible. That should not have gone in. But maybe that's starting to turn our way. And in the second half, we had more chances, couldn't finish. I felt confident. It was a little uneasy, but Spurs really didn't create anything. So I felt fine. Will say though, Miles Lewis Kelly, stud, absolute stud, and one of our own, knows what this game means to us, and I would die for him. Future, and the best part, that's not even he's 18 years old, not even his natural position, and he's putting out performances like that. That kid's a future star in the making.
Yeah.
There you have it, everybody. Arsenal Mark, he's back.
We're so back. And I'm just saying, 4 points, but like, I am begging for us to get somebody this window. I don't even care if it's just a loan. Just get someone, please, because
who's your ideal like wish list? Obviously, like Isak is more of like a summer type thing, if that's possible. But like for this January window,
I'd like Nico Williams, but like he's like on ridiculous wages because of Athletic Bilbao's like because of their BAS policy, they can pay their players more on the scale of like a Barcelona / Real because they're not paying agent fees or anything like that. That's like ideal, but I just want, or somebody like Brian Mbomo, maybe he would, but like he's so important to Brentford that
he's probably not.
They're not going to let him go, at least in this window.
No.
So like I don't know. I just need someone just to give us just a little more depth, just so that we can manage until Saka comes back, because I think Wanieri's coming back in a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Sterling's fine, but he did better in his cameo rather than the home, and his decision making so slow at times, and maybe that's just because he hasn't played much, so he needs to get up to the speed. Maybe like with a couple more games to get up to it, but like he's fine. But as I said, we literally have only 4 options right now for attack. It's Havertz, Martinelli, Trossard, and Sterling. That's it.
So like, welcome to the Raheem Sterling experience. You'll have like a great game out of him, and then he disappears for 5 or 6.
Yeah,
and then
so
another
like,
great game, and then he disappears for 10. And repeat, copy, paste, whatever. Just welcome to the
we literally brought on Kieran Tierney, and he played left wing for us. So like, we just need something else just to give us a depth of anything. So who that is, God knows. I don't know who's available, but just someone, please.
Still about 2 weeks.
anyone.
There's 2 more matches this match week that go down on Thursday, 2:30 Eastern time. Ipswich Town playing host to Brighton, and then at 3:00 Eastern, Man United playing host to Southampton. Ipswich they've been hot since they played Chelsea. And then Brighton, I think the 4-0 win in the FA Cup, I think, was big for them, especially since they were playing most of their guys. This is definitely a game that Brighton has to win. Like, their next 3, looking at, who's on their schedule upcoming, like those next 3 games, they have to win if they want to even like consider being like top 6, top 5. They've got to go on. So they play Ipswich tomorrow as we record this on Wednesday. And then after Ipswich, it is Man United on January 19th. And then they are home to Everton on January 25th. Before a gauntlet of February fixtures that starts with Nottingham Forest, Chelsea back-to-back with FA Cup and Premier League matches. They get Southampton again. And then Bournemouth is their final match in February. So if they want to have any hopes of, Europe and anything, top 6, top 5 in the standings, they've got to go on a run here in January. So it all starts for them against Ipswich. And then, with Man United, another team that's kind of just like figuring things out. They're like leveling things out, and another perfect match for them to do that against Southampton. I mean, the funniest thing for them would be to drop points to Southampton, but
they absolutely could do.
They've been finding a way over the past couple weeks, so we'll see what happens there.
Amaron said after, I think today at a press conference, and he was like, I'm going to learn more about my team tomorrow against Southampton than he did against Liverpool and Arsenal, because like at those games, kind of a free hit essentially. I mean, obviously you're Manchester United, 2 of your biggest rivals. You got to play well for those, and no matter how bad they are, the expectation is to win. Mm-hmm. But like, given current state of all those teams compared to United, like a loss wouldn't have been surprised, but like you're expected to beat Southampton, especially at home. Mm-hmm. Like they only have 1 win, so he will definitely learn a lot about his team.
Yes, for sure. And then upcoming on the weekend, Saturday, Bournemouth is at Newcastle, Crystal Palace at West Ham, Liverpool at Brentford, Fulham at Leicester City, Aston Villa at Arsenal, Southampton at Nottingham Forest kicks off Sunday, Tottenham at Everton, Brighton at Man United, like I mentioned, Man City at Ipswich, and then Wolves at Chelsea on Monday, January 20th. Anything stand out for the week upcoming after these final 2 games this week with the weekend fixtures?
All I know is that Wolves are going to want to get their get back against us after Noni Madueke called their town a shit town. So I'm terrified. I'm genuinely terrified. I think we're fucked.
I'd say probably the biggest game is probably Arsenal Villa.
Yeah.
Of the weekend. It should be a tough game. I hate Unai Emery. So, and whenever we score against Martinez, it warms my heart. But Brentford Liverpool is not going to be an easy game for Liverpool, especially because Brentford is really, really good at home. So, good luck, Liverpool.
Yeah, you have that, and then we'll see if Newcastle, continues their only conceding 1 goal in the year 2025 streak.
And I mean, normally I would say City going to Ipswich, or City going to promoted side should wipe the floor, but Ipswich been playing well lately. City is still struggling defensively. So they're gonna be up for a promoted team, playing a big team again. I expect City to win, but it would not surprise me. I would not surprise me one bit if Ipswich somehow pulls off a result.
Yeah. So those are the upcoming fixtures there from the Prem. Before we push to transfers, want to talk to you guys about our friends over at Biñho. Mark, have I ever showed you Biñho?
No.
This is something we need to bring to MLOT.
What is it?
It is like paper football meets foosball.
Interesting.
So it's foosball basically with your fingers.
Okay.
And it is the next like tabletop game for your
tailgates.
Biñho.
Biñho board. Let me look it up.
It is so much fun. Our good friend Reese Hoskins loves Biñho. Started in Arizona, and it is truly like one of those things that you break out and it's a conversation goer. Harrison and I have brought it on the road with us to events and everything, and people are like, what the hell is this? And it's like, come play, and you'll be sucked in for hours. Truly just a fun game to bring, like I said, to a tailgate, to have out in your man cave, to a party, whatever it may be. They have officially licensed boards with Major League Soccer. They have officially licensed boards with Liverpool, Arsenal, and Man City. You can customize your favorite boards as well. They're truly the best. We've been big fans of Biñho for years now. We're happy to have them back on board as a sponsor. So use our link in the description and use code BiñhoBennett62. And you'll get 10% off your next order with our friends at Biñho, and that's off the entire order. So use our link in the description, code BiñhoBennett62, and you'll get 10% off your next order with our friends at Biñho. Transfer rumors. Speaking of Ipswich, they just completed a transfer, which I think only helps them kind of fight off this relegation zone that they've been, teetering with and trying to dig themselves out of. How do you feel about them getting Jaden Philogene? Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah.
From Aston Villa.
They've been wanting him for a while. I know they wanted to try to sign him in the summer, but Villa had like a buyback clause, which they activated because he had a really good year in the championship. I think with Hull City, if I'm not mistaken. Could be wrong, but I don't think he was getting much playing time. So good on Ipswich to get their guy, especially if you know that you want a guy and you want him and he's available. You go for it. I think it's a good signing. Just give him some more options up top, attacking wise. Should be a good signing for them.
He has a 20 million euro fee with 3 million euro in add-ons. So, he's 22 years old, 4.5-year deal with Ipswich. So, we'll see how it all shakes out. And you were right; it was Hull City before Aston Villa. He made 11 appearances with Aston Villa. Mark knows all everyone. That's why he's on the pod. And then some other rumors. These are all coming from The Athletic, by the way. We'll link this in the description. Atlanta United are working to reach an agreement with Miguel Almiron.
Bringing him back.
$13.5 million is the bid. There's rumors that Newcastle are going to shoot this down. I don't know. It's interesting that they're bringing him back, I would say. But any thoughts on that move there for Newcastle as they continue to just surge?
I guess my only question for Newcastle is then who does they have on right wing? Because I know Gordon and Barnes play left wing for them. I know they have Jacob Murphy, but then because I know they've been trying to sign like a right winger for a while, just to balance out the team a bit more. However, if they lose Almiron, do they really only have Jacob Murphy?
I think that's it. Yeah. I don't see why Newcastle would take this move, but Atlanta United desperately need this to go through because they have not been the same team since Almiron left them. They were contending for the MLS Cup, and now what? They haven't sniffed the playoffs at all recently.
Yeah,
they're looking like the Union out there, which is a damn shame.
Well, that's not true because they can actually sign players.
That's fair. And not rely on the homegrown academy kids only.
Excuse me. Frankfurt reject Man City's bid for Omar Marmoush.
That'll probably go through still. How much did it say how much they bid originally?
Let's see.
Because I know Frankfurt's like holding out for like 80 million.
As they should. That kid's unreal.
Yeah, it doesn't say exactly, but a source close to the deal told The Athletic that the bid was too low, but that there was an expectation that an agreement will be reached between the two sides.
Yeah, that will go through.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Insigne is not departing MLS. He's staying in Toronto in 2025, so he'll stay up north.
He's definitely not at the SerieA level anymore that he was, and he's playing well up there. So,
and then Leicester complete the Koulibaly signing from Parma.
There's a couple other MLS rumors, at least lately. One is I think Charlotte FC is in talks to get Wilfried Zaha on loan.
Ooh,
which would be fun because I know right now he's Leon, but I think they'll like cancel that loan. And then the big one, which is Neymar, is apparently over talks with 3 MLS clubs, including Chicago Fire.
If he's coming to the MLS, he's going to Miami. He's going to want to reunite MSN.
No, Miami can't can't afford him right now.
I thought he was involved with them, but
he'd want to, but their head coach, which is Javier Mascherano, which is just wild.
Mascherano, you got Busquets,
Suarez,
Jordi Alba,
and Suarez and Neymar. Yeah, but so Mascherano said that they can't afford him right now.
That's a shame. It would have been great to see MSN again.
Who are the other clubs?
Might as well just hand him the trophy too.
Yeah, just hand him the trophy. But I mean, MSN is MSN.
Did they even win the Supporters Shield last year?
No, they didn't.
Oh, well, there you go.
Like they came up pretty short, I think. Actually, like I want to say they lost. Yeah, no, because it was
Sorry, Supporters Shield is best record during the regular season. MLS Cup. That's what I'm looking for. It was the LA Galaxy.
Yeah, it was Galaxy versus
Red Bull.
Yeah, I knew I was gonna say NYCFC, and then I was like, I don't want to sound like an idiot for not knowing which New York team it was. But
Galaxy's first one in 10 years.
Right there. That's some OG MLS teams in the final.
Yeah. Galaxy's first win in 10 years, too.
I'm really shocked they never got one with a Zlatan. Right.
Well, yeah. That was when like LAFC came up. So
yeah. So I'm still mad at LAFC for that Christian Bale penalty or Gareth Bale. Jesus Christ, I'm tired.
We don't say that name on this podcast.
Okay, so we'll call him Christian Bale. Bale.
No, because Christian Bale's Batman, and he's cooler. He's cooler than that freak. I was also doing some digging this week. We may have to take some field trips this summer to Lincoln Financial Field for the FIFA Club World Cup because the teams that are coming to Philly are pretty loaded.
Is Chelsea part of that group? Because I know we're
Chelsea is. Yes.
Okay. And they should have a full healthy squad. Well, maybe not healthy, but a full squad for it.
Oh, their squad of 57?
Squad of 57, yeah. With 8 goalkeepers.
Juventus is coming to Philly. Ooh. Chelsea's coming to Philly. Real Madrid's coming to Philly.
Those tickets are so expensive then.
Salzburg's coming to Philly. Well, I was talking to somebody and they said that FIFA's doing the tickets, so it's not through Ticketmaster.
Okay.
So they may be more attainable in terms of access.
I will believe it when I see it.
And then the quarterfinals are 4th of July in Philly.
All right. Well, hopefully Chelsea are there by that point. I think we'll be eliminated pretty early, though.
But definitely something to keep an eye on. And most of the games are like during the week, too, which is nice.
Oh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Also, since we last recorded, this kind of came through, but everyone's been talking about it with Kusanov going to Man City.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about him from what I read. Highly regarded. Young Uzbekistani.
I
Right?
believe
Maybe.
Let me see.
I think so. So highly regarded young center back. I mean, you got to always future plan, get these young guys and everything. And like then they're also trying to sign that guy from Brazil, Vitor Reyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kusanov's 20 years old.
Yeah, I mean, like, how much is he going to help now? But City's been typically pretty good at signing these young guys and developing them. So
that they have. And it's annoying as hell because it's just the rich get richer. And hopefully they just start declining again, or they actually get penalized for all their transfer shenanigans.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm still waiting on that punishment.
I think it's next month they think they're getting charged, or we'll find out if they're getting charged. Sorry.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah, this was a great quote I saw, too. From ESPN put this out. Jurgen Klopp said he'll throw a party if City have their title stripped.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I can't find ways to hate Jurgen Klopp. That dude is just too fun.
And then I know we talked about this earlier, but Arsenal apparently going to be signing Zubimendi in the summer, which is good because they've been interested in him for a while. I know there were talks about trying to get him last year, but he didn't want to leave. Then Liverpool tried getting him. He said no to them. Then we signed Marino. So I think that relationship is slowly getting established, especially because we sent Tierney on loan there last year. It's a good signing because we're losing number 5 and Jorginho in the summer because their contracts are running out. Maybe they re-sign Jorginho for like another year just to keep him, just for a depth option.
I want him back. I still have my Jorginho number. I still have it.
But it's good because then you can also not only have like a good midfield for now, but you can also have the depths because then you can bring up Wanyeri and Lewis Kelly slowly and learn from them. So I think it's a really good signing for us. Assuming he goes through.
And then I just saw this too from like 12 hours ago in The Guardian. We talked about this when we brought the show back. He was linked to Chelsea. He's also linked to Arsenal. Now Vlahovic getting his name thrown around with Arsenal. Apparently the word is Juventus are willing to like cash their chips in, and his contract runs to 2026, and the negotiations there are kind of at a standstill. Is that something that tickles your fancy there, Mark?
I mean, they've had interest with him before when he was at Fiorentina, I think he was at.
Yeah.
And then they chose Juventus because they could offer more money. I would take him on as a loan. I don't want him as a permanent signing because I think they just signed Kolo Muani as on loan. So I would rather take him on as a loan, just for a 6-month loan, get another option, get a relatively proven goal scorer. But if I'm ranking like who I want in strikers over the summer, he'd probably be 3rd on the list because it would go Isak, Sesko, and then drop off Vlahovic. I do have a question though for Harrison. What are your thoughts on the Matthias Tell, Christopher Nkunku, Bayern Munich reportedly swap deal?
I mean, I love Nkunku. I think he's a great player. I don't know much about the Byron kid, actually. I've been meaning to look into him, but I've just got back into Bloomington and basically have been at the bar working every day, so I've had not really many chances. But, if Nkunku decides to leave, I wish him nothing but the best. And if the swap deal happens, I hope that this guy can come in and score at the clip that Nkunku does, because he doesn't score frequently, but he's not on the pitch that frequently either. So we'll have to see. It was a big splash. I just want Nkunku to not turn into another Timo Werner situation.
Yeah.
Which would suck because I also really like Timo Werner.
But he's not good.
No.
Oh, and then the other rumor floating around too is that potentially West Ham may be going for Evan Ferguson from Brighton.
Interesting. On loan or permanent?
I think on loan was what I had read. And then there was also stuff out there with intention for a permanent.
Got it.
Because apparently Graham Potter just is infatuated with him. So
yeah, well, his stock's fallen lately. So
we'll see how that shakes out. Anything else, boys, before we hop on out of here?
Nope.
I'm losing my mind about Chelsea, man. Just losing it.
We will.
We're so back, and Arsenal are so back. That's all I'll say.
We will have more from the Premier decision coming, as that will air on all of our socials and on YouTube January 29th. And it'll be out by the time we record that episode, so then Mark will know where my allegiances will lie, which will be very fun. No elimination this week, but we may have a double elimination next week before the big decision. So everyone that's still alive, may the odds be ever in your favor, and you better play fucking well this week. Make sure you guys are following us on the socials, subscribe to the pod, leave us a voicemail. It's speakpipe.com/FC Top Bins. The link is in the description of the show as well. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're ever so close to 1,000 subscribers, which means we can do a lot more stuff once we get to 1,000. So keep on subscribing, and we will be back here next week talking all things Premier League, anything else that floats around in the transfer window, and anything else that just comes to mind. But for Mark, for Harrison, I'm KB. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Top Bins, and